Hello everybody, it is day 17 of my 22k, still on cross trainer, but at least I'm getting it in as I said I would do in some shape or form. Today we're going to be talking about the emergency stop. Just to give you some facts, it's quite easy to get right, but there is an element that most people completely overlook, especially when parents have not or haven't thought of the whole process through. So the emergency stop is to simulate an emergency, for example, a kid running straight out into the road in front of them. So in terms of what you've got to do, your hands, feet, eyes, normally when we're about to slow down, we preempt we're about to slow down, so we assess what's behind us, we make a decision, when am I going to show my brake light, should I slow down earlier, a bit later, what can I do? In this instance, we literally don't care, because if we get hit up the backside, that's okay, we're protected more than say the kid on the little scooter that's just come out in front of us. So we don't look in the mirror, keep your eyes on the road, keep your hands on the steering wheel. We don't want to see you knocking into neutral, grabbing the handbrake or anything like that. You need to steer. Now, you don't need to steer on the test because you're not going to be steering around an object, but the examiner would like to see that you've got control of the steering at the same time, so don't take your hands off the steering wheel. It's kind of like a gut instinct to see people doing, so they go for the handbrake, I'm like, well, no, don't touch that, or they knock it into neutral before they stop. So keep your hands on the steering wheel. Really common, whenever I ask anyone what do they do first with their feet, and they say, oh, can I clutch down and then I'm going to brake? I'm like, brake first, because braking slows the car down. If you're doing 30 miles an hour, you're going to need to brake for a couple of seconds before you press the clutch down. Remember, pressing the clutch is to prevent stalling when the engine revs reach 1,000. So if you're doing 3,000 revs, you've got to brake all the way down to 1,000, then press the clutch down. If you're doing 70 miles an hour, you're going to be braking for some seconds. It could be 5 seconds, depending on the stopping distance, wet, icy, whatnot. So brake, because if you clutch down, you lose engine braking. That means you've got less control of the car. So if you think about it, when you've got the engine connected to the gearbox and the wheels, when you come off the gas, the car slows down naturally to 1,000 revs. So if you're braking on top of that, then you've got engine braking plus braking, which means you're going to stop more effectively. So the bigger the speed, the bigger the gap between braking and pressing the clutch down. If you're doing 5 miles an hour, it's literally going to be braking clutch. 10 miles an hour, brake, clutch, and so on. I can't give you a magic formula. The bigger the speed, the bigger the gap between braking and clutch. If you brake too hard, you might lock up. All modern cars have ABS. Like an airbag, don't rely on it. It might not work. If you feel like you've braked and the ABS basically opens and closes the brake pads rapidly, which keeps the wheels moving, doesn't make you stop quicker at all. It just allows you to steer, because if your wheels are locked and you steer, you will lose control. So the ABS opens and closes the brake pad, the wheels continually turn while you're slowing down, and that gives you steering control. But let's say it failed, you need to recreate that through cadence braking by pumping the brake like that. And anyone that learned to drive like when I did, cars didn't have ABS, so you needed to learn. So when you started entering a skid, you need to ease off and keep braking and pumping that brake pedal. Okay, so let's now say you've stopped, and it should feel like seatbelt sort of stuff off the back seat, fly forwards. If you haven't done that, you shouldn't do it. Now, when practicing at home, you must make sure that the person supervising you has a mirror, has looked all around before practicing. The examiner will say, when I raise my hand and say stop, I want you to stop as if it's an emergency. Wait till I give you the signal. I must check it's safe first. If they don't give the signal, it's not safe. So that's how you should practice it. Okay, good. Once you've stopped, hand still on the wheel, foot on the brake, keep foot on the clutch, handbrake on into neutral. The examiner will say on that point, I'm not going to ask you to do that again, drive off when you're ready. So this is the bit that people mess up. They're a bit flustered, adrenaline's pumping, panting, like, oh my God, that was hectic. First gear, feet ready, do what you normally do. Hand ready to signal if you think you need one, check left blind spot, because you're stuck in the middle of the road, there's space for people to pass. Most people literally just say, the examiner says drive off when you're ready, and you just drive off, you don't make any checks. That causes more problems than the emergency stop itself. So that's it, that's my tips for the emergency stop. Please have a look at the link below to donate and find out more about my friend Joe challenge. He's doing 365 days of action, 8,000 kilometres, he's smashed 50,000 metres of elevation already, he's aiming for 100,000. Needs more followers, likes, etc. on social media, so please check out his page below. Have a good weekend, I will see you tomorrow.